cults, rituals, devotion, religion. My God, most people have not attended a religious private school before. My Lord, is it an experience? Holy hell, there was a lot to take in. My own experiences were a lot less than divine. They were probably hellish. All the puns intended. Greetings, I'm Lady, and welcome back to L. How have you been? Storytime. My religious school was whack not a good whack but a this is wrong on so many levels type of whack I took a moment to look back at when I had gone to religious private schools. When I was growing up, I didn't enter a public school until I had forcibly gotten myself kicked out at around halfway through my sophomore year through private religious high school. Oh my God, it was a lot better than the crap I had to deal with in private school. And I never thought I'd have to say that. Somewhere, because private schools are just screwed up, the private school credits did not get accredited in the public school credits, so somehow something got really screwed up because of private school transcripts, and I had to do a 5th year in high school. Thanks, private school. I still to this day have no idea if it was because they didn't know how to credit religion classes. I don't know. It's over. Whatever. I'm done. I graduated. Who cares? Nobody could solve it. I was supposed to graduate a year before that, but they screwed it up, and it just... whatever. Now, when you think of private schools, a lot of people think, oh, your parents must have been really rich. No, actually, my parents were nowhere near wealthy. Only one of them had a job. It was under the table. It wasn't steady, and it was at home. The other one was disabled, so she only got a fixed amount of income per month thanks to the government. And I said her because that was my mother. She was literally crazy by definition. Now, when I mean crazy, I mean nowadays she's tooth-gnashing, insane, rock back and forth kind of crazy. Disability for a reason. But I have been put in private school because when you are a disabled mother and you have a child, disabled or not, it is still your child, and you do actually have the ability to send them to private school. And so she did just that. So all the way from K-5 to, well, through 8th grade and all the way through 9th and half of my 10th year of high school, so my 10.5th year in high school, I was in private school, and it was all religious because my mother was religious. I am doing one of the most forbidden things. I am talking about religion at the table. Now, I know this is completely not supposed to be a thing. It is very against the moral code of human society where you're not supposed to talk about religion at the table, but why not? If there's people talking about how they have done things with their dogs, I figure I'm okay to talk about religious schools on the internet. I wanted to point out the very strange things I had experienced or saw in my school. So I'm just sort of ranting. I'm ranting before I grow old one day and completely forget what life was like a couple of decades ago. That way I can look back and be like, huh, okay. I am also no longer religious, I will be honest, partly because of this school and the other schools that I have attended that were religious, and also partly because of my mother, and partly because of other reasons I shall not mention. When I had posted that video earlier this year, a couple of weeks ago, where I had posted about being bullied, actually that bullying experience, a good portion of that has actually happened in that high school. Some of the other things have happened in that K through 8th school. A good portion of the bullying has happened in my religious school, which led me to create that video. Feel free to go check out the video. I had the weird things happen with bullying where you'd think it only happened in movies. I was put in a locker, the food was put in my hair, food was taken from me, the food money that I had to go get the food was taken from me, bus money was taken from me, I got dumped in a trash can more than once, pushed, shoved, punched, kicked, slapped, bitten, whatever. I've had bruises, I've had everything, thanks to the school I went to. Afterwards, this actually did not happen so frequently in the public school that I had gone to, so there's a huge difference, it seems like. Just because I started to wear black fingernail polish and I had started to wear eyeliner, everyone thought I was the most hardcore devil worshipper. Maybe I'm just expressing myself. But because one person decided that I, in their eyes, am a hardcore devil worshipper, everyone thinks that I'm a hardcore devil worshipper, and the sheepish behavior had continued to snowball the bullying onto me, including the counselors, which I'll tell you about pretty soon. After some point, I had thought to myself, what happened to the fact that this is a religious school, and what happened to the treat people how you wanted to be treated thing, or the love thy neighbor as thyself, or something like that? What happened to that? Love thy neighbor as yourself, not stick a thumbtack in the arm to see if you can get me kicked out of devotion for making too much noise. You stuck a thumbtack in my arm. Why did you stick a thumbtack in my arm? They really wanted to get me kicked out. I hated that school so much. Not only for the people, but cultish behavior and misogyny are extremely real there. Now, when I mean misogyny and cultish behavior, during devotion we all sat in the auditorium, which is like a big theater, and every single morning we would talk about a lesson in life, or a moral or something you should take away, and be just the most perfect little thing, otherwise you're going to die. And all the bad things in the world can happen to you. Honestly, I don't want to get into exactly what they were talking about, but it's extremely cultish, and I think that's all we need to know. Do this or you will die. 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 You will die. You will die. Die! Okay, I get it, Jesus. Pun intended. Literally every single morning they would do fear-mongering. I hate it. Literally every single morning they would have fear tactics. Every morning during devotion for about 45 minutes, fear. Brainwashing. And like literally brainwashing. I can't remember some of the stuff that happened. I really should probably think about that. The teachers would take turn going up to do this devotion for every 45 minutes every single day that we existed. And I've noticed something very strange, and I think I'm the only one who did notice, or at least someone who's willing to talk about it. When they would do devotion, every single teacher would go up and do a devotion, right? Or every single principal, counselor, whatever. There were never any of the female teachers or counselors or anything. Even the male janitor has gone up and done a sermon devotion thing before, but never anyone who was a female. I found it really off, but being someone who was once in the religion, they did kind of tell women to not speak themselves up, if you get what I mean. And oddly enough, with the cultish behavior and the misogyny and stuff like that, if you were seen not praying or you were heard saying the wrong things during prayer, they would actually dock your grades down in all of your classes. They would dock your whole everything down. There was a whole separate class that was called homeroom. I'm not sure if any other people who have had that in high school had the same thing happen, but in this school particularly, you had probably a 25-minute class, whereas the normal ones are like an hour. So 20 minutes of homeroom, 40 minutes of devotion, bam, you go back into your classes just like normal. This 20-minute homeroom was actually counted as a grade for some reason, even though we did absolutely nothing. And when I mean absolutely nothing, I mean sometimes people would just eat in the morning. I don't know how you get graded on that, but I later found out that the homeroom teacher would actually pay attention to see if you were praying during devotion, if you were actually giving the offerings and stuff like that, and paying attention or talking to friends or on your phone or whatever, and would take that obedience or anything grade if you didn't sing the hymns that they wanted you to sing. If they saw you doing something that you weren't supposed to be doing during devotion, they actually would dock your grade down, and that would bring down your whole grade point average, your GPA. If you're someone who didn't do the prayer during devotion or didn't pray during the lunchtime prayer thing that they did over the intercom every single day, you would actually get your grade docked down, and you can get a failing grade. You actually are almost required to redo the whole semester over again if you got below a C-. Honestly, anything in that school you got below a C-, you had to redo the whole class the next time. You get below a C? How many times has anyone gotten below a C in anything? It's pretty often. You actually had to retake the whole class for a whole nother semester the next year or the next semester. Got 1% off? Up? Too bad, you gotta redo the whole thing next time. Oh, you didn't do all the extra credit? Oh, that's too bad. You gotta take it again next semester. And that goes for anything. If you failed homeroom, you basically have to do it again. You will actually get a detention. I didn't really get a detention because I was just obedient and I aced all of my religion classes. I was actually trying, but whatever. Speaking of detention, I had gotten a detention for the first time in my whole life, freshman year of high school, simply because, remember when I told you that my family was poor? They didn't want to give me $30 for one of the very specific Bibles. They wouldn't accept any other Bible. They had to have this specific one for an economics class. Economics class? You needed a specific Bible for praying during economics class. And I couldn't buy it, and they gave me a detention for coming to class without the proper supplies. That was the first detention I've ever gotten. To be honest, I actually, took a Bible from someone because my parents didn't want to give me the $30 to go get the specific Bible. I never got a detention again. No one ever found out it was me. But I had to go to that length just to make sure that I didn't get a detention for being poor. And no matter how many times I said this to the counselors, they didn't give a crap. So I just took a Bible and continued on about my economics class. I'm not very proud of that. I'm not very proud of the school for actually, making me do that either. When your counselors or teachers don't give a crap about you, it's actually terrible. Well, that's obvious, you say. But I mean, literally don't give a crap. They had less of a filter than they were being paid to have. One time I was with my boyfriend at the time, and he had given me his oversized jacket. I thought it was the coziest little thing ever. So because it was cozy in my freshman year of high school, I was gonna wear it to school because I was just so happy to be with him. It reminded me of them and all the good times that we had and all that stuff, so I wore that really oversized, probably 4XL size jacket to school, whereas I'm 94 pounds at the time. So that jacket was huge. It could pretty much touch the floor. The sleeves were draped all over the place, and the hoodie was actually down to here at the point. I'm just really tiny. I was dating a really big dude, and I happened to have his jacket, and in order to keep me sane, I would wear it to school. They didn't really have a uniform, so I just wore an oversized jacket. But one time I got pulled into the counselor's office because they had a problem with it. This woman called me in, I forgot her name, I'm just gonna call her Sally, I guess. So Sally pulls me in, Miss Sally, and she pulls me aside and outwardly calls my fashion stupid. She told me right off the bat that I looked like an idiot. She told me that she thought, by the way that I was dressing, that I was mocking the angels, about how big the sweater was on my arms. It looked like sagging angels' wings. And because it was so big, sometimes it would slump down to my elbows, and I would just sort of hold it like that and it would be draped around. So I guess it looked like a sad angel's wings. And she thought that I was mocking the angels, which is a big, big no-no. It escalated. I honestly didn't think it could escalate, but it did escalate. The male school counselor had walked in and joined in on the conversation without knocking, without giving a crap, without her saying, hey, come in, could you come talk to this girl? Nope, he just walks on in here. I'm gonna call him Sam because I forgot the name. And Sam walks in and he continues to say that I look stupid as hell. But I look apparently too stupid, and I'm supposed to be a female, and I'm supposed to be dressing feminine, not sloppy, and all of this stuff because I just wanted to wear a jacket that made me feel comfortable. And I was actually wearing hand-me-downs at the time, so to have a sweater that actually had the Nike symbol over here, a name brand for once in my life, and I couldn't wear it? Seriously? Otherwise, I look like somebody's grandma. Let me not look like a grandma for once. But no, they had to have a fit. And for what? Honestly, I I honestly don't know. Apparently I didn't look feminine enough. And then on top of them having a fit about my jacket, there were other times where I did actually say something to them about the bullying that was going on. I walked in there and there were actually bruises on my arms because of the kids that were actually hitting me, punching me, kicking me, and so on. And I walk in there and I sit down and I sit by a different counselor this time. I'm just gonna call her Julia because I don't remember her name anymore. I don't remember anyone's name anymore. But I sit down and I talk to Miss Julia and I said, these kids are bullying me. I have these bruises and they hurt. I'm not sure what to do. And something just possessed her in her mind to say I shouldn't be letting people pick on me. And actually, word for word, told me I should stop making it easy for people to pick on me. I should look more normal. I should talk more normal. I have Asperger's. I can't talk normal. But she didn't give a crap. You're making it too easy for them to pick on you. You don't look like the rest of the kids. Stop acting like an idiot. Stop wearing all that black. Stop, for God's sake, wearing that damn sweater. It seemed like nobody really cared at all at that point. They told me I should stop tattling on the bullies because that is going to get me even more bullied. And that if I didn't stop tattling on them, they would give me a detention for being offensive. Offensive because I looked offensive. Like, literally, they told me I looked offensive. A religious school, one of the most, possibly from the outside, thought to be one of the most caring places to be. And they're calling their students offensive. Honestly, I hope they got fired for being offensive. And so apathetic. To make it worse, my mother actually didn't give a shit about it either. So in the long run, I took myself out of school and I got myself expelled. Not because I was a bad student, but because I just couldn't put up with the bullying anymore. My mother wouldn't take me out, they wouldn't take me seriously, so I just kicked myself out. I got all 5 Fs. I failed all 5 classes that semester and made them kick me out. And then I got put into public school, and honestly, they're okay with diversity, so I got a lot less bullied. Still got bullied, but definitely not that much. I hated that place, that religious school. I hope it gets shut down. And I hope someone somewhere out there hears about what happened and asks me where they are so I can tell them, and they'll go and shut it down. Please shut the school down. Well, that was annoying. That experience anyway. Leave a like if you did like the video. Honestly, I always have dozens of stories to share with you about a given topic. Any given talk, and I could talk for days. Be sure to leave a like if you did like the video. And I'll be sure to, if you did, leave a comment about your experiences below. Not sure if you ever went to a public school or a private school, private religious school, or dealt with really bad hypocritical religious people before, but be sure to leave your comment below. Even though it is offensive, I guess, kind of, in a way. I'm not trying to be offensive, I'm just talking about the fact that I had gone through a living hell in a very heavenly school. Or so they say. And be sure to subscribe, so that way you get the updates when the video comes out. Your comment will be featured if I like it. Any comment. Nice comments, relatable comments, same type comments, hashtag same comments, you get what I mean. Or funny comments if I haven't already said that. And I'll be sure to feature your comment in the next video of this kind. Or at some point if I really think that it's cool. Thanks for watching, I'll see you next time, and I'll stop bothering you. For now.